the Start Your Own Business podcast. Hear inspiring startup stories and get reliable expert advice on how to start your business and get off to the best possible start. Brought to you by Startup Donut, helping small businesses succeed.
Hi there, thanks for joining us and welcome to the Start Your Own Business podcast. My name's Fiona and I'm your host. Research suggests that around 80% of businesses with employees are using accounting software, but that figure falls to about 50% for those with fewer than 20 employees, while among the solo self-employed just 33% are using accounting software. Non-users are missing out massively on numerous business benefits. Accounting software saves time and money through automation, reducing manual data entry while improving accuracy and reducing bookkeeping errors. It also enables better cash flow management, better cost control, and better decision making thanks to real-time financial insights. It also simplifies tax and compliance while making your business more professional and your financial data more secure. Many more sole traders and landlords are going to have to start using accounting software after Making Tax Digital for income tax is phased in from April 2026. Whether you're a new user or you've been using accounting software for years, you'll want to make sure you're getting the best value from your accounting software. In this episode, we speak to Jonathan Dowden, Product Marketing Director, Small Business at Sage, the Newcastle upon Tyne headquartered global accounting and business software company. Jonathan will be providing us with tips on how to make the most of your accounting software. But before we speak to Jonathan, let's find out about Sage and Copilot and how it can help small businesses just like yours.
To be honest, work had been a slog. I'm a designer, but some nights I was chasing invoices like my full-time job. Now Sage Copilot chases my invoices for me. I just need to click a button and it's done. And I get paid 1 week faster.
Sage Copilot is built with over 40 years of experience helping real businesses like Sophia at Solver Design. That's more than artificial intelligence, that's authentic intelligence. Search Sage Copilot to learn more. Working with 21 customers, each round payments came in 7 days faster with Sage Copilot. T's and C's apply.
It's now time to meet our guest, Jonathan Dowden, Product Marketing Director, Small Business at Sage. Hi, Jonathan. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Fiona. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So we're here today, Jonathan, to talk about how small businesses can get more from their accounting software. I wondered if you could start by giving us a great example of how accounting software can give small businesses more than just tax compliance.
Yeah, so accounting software can do so much more than just helping you get your tax right each year or each quarter. If you think about it, if you record all of the data that your transactions from your business, everything that you could possibly need to make any decisions or financial decisions is there. So imagine that you're a builder. You might even just started trading as a builder, and you basically had enough of working for someone else. You've always been doing work on the side for your friends and family. So you start up, you go out, and you decide, right, I'm going to do what I'm doing now. I'll do kitchens, I'll do small extensions, garage conversions, loft conversions, all of that sort of stuff. Anyway, you're doing that now. As you're doing all of that work, and you're then using your accounting software to invoice your customers. So you've got customer records there starting to build with lots of really interesting data and how much people are paying you, how quickly they're paying you. That's also really important. All of your materials that you're buying in to do these jobs, you're logging all of that. You're putting your purchase orders in there from the builders, merchants, and everything else. Now, it might then be that actually you start to see that some jobs are actually a lot more profitable than others. So those little jobs that you keep whacking in there because you want to help, because you're a friendly, helpful builder. So someone has a problem, you go rushing around and doing some quick fixes. But you realise that actually those quick fixes, when you combine them all up together and how much you're invoicing, you're not actually making an awful lot of profit there. Because you've got your van that you're running around, you're using a huge amount of fuel, you're going all around and all over the place. So with the accounting software, never mind just about you're a builder, you might well be VAT registered. So maybe obviously it's helping you do your VAT quarter. Yeah. But you actually start to realize, actually, I should cut down on these jobs. Or if I want to be helpful, I might sit down and look at how much it costs me, what I'm charging. Is my pricing correct? Maybe I need to increase my prices. Maybe I need to have a minimum charge for going out and doing quick jobs.
Yeah.
I can still respond immediately because I get a real buzz out of going and helping people when they're really difficult, in a difficult situation. And that helps build my reputation as a small business owner. It's what differentiates me as a small business to, say, a larger competitor. But the accounting software gives you the real numbers. And unfortunately, it always comes down to the numbers. And the accounting software is sitting there in the background, just recording your sales, recording your costs, putting them in the right place for you. In technology, with the technology within the accounting software is doing more of that for you, so you don't have to know what to do necessarily yourself. But anytime you want to ask a question about, is this, or have data to help you make a decision, it's all sitting there ready for you to access in your accounting software.
Yeah, exactly. I think something like 2/3 of small businesses use accounting software already, but there will be others that are still perhaps, smaller ones or newer businesses that haven't got all their systems in place, that are relying on spreadsheets or perhaps manual records. There are some drawbacks to that, to not using accounting software. Can you give us some examples of why that's not a good idea?
Oh, absolutely. So spreadsheet, let's start with spreadsheets first. Yes, great. It's familiar. It's free. You bought Microsoft Office for your son or daughter who's at school, and it's then free, really, isn't it? But have you got the spreadsheet set up correctly? You can quite often, how many times have you wiped a formula out of an Excel sheet and the numbers are wrong, but you don't know that because you don't know that there's a mistake, an error in a formula, for example. Or it might be on a laptop that gets broken, or you can't get access to that. So there are major problems around Excel, and also how do you have that data in a format that you can use to make those decisions?
Yeah.
Accounting software has graphs that you can understand, has tables, has charts that constantly update as your data updates. If you think about paper and notebooks, well, that's even harder because you're potentially filing things in all manner of ways. I mean, speaking to our customers, prior to using, say, Sage software, they've been filing things in files, yes, sure, and box files ready for their accountant. But also they've been using sun visors, cup holders, glove boxes, and that's all fine. But then what happens when you get to January?
Yeah.
And you're now starting to you need to find all of these receipts to maybe hand to your accountant, or to start processing all of this stuff yourself. Much better if it's in an accounting software. It's in a single place. It's secure. Everything's there for when you need it. So those are the big advantages, that everything's in a single location. You know where it is. It's there, and you can access the insights those numbers tell you in a way that you understand instantly. And you can do that from your laptop, from your phone, from your tablet, whatever suits you.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about briefly today, if I can, Jonathan, is making tax digital for income tax. Now, some of our listeners will already be familiar with this, but some of them won't. Can you tell us what making tax digital for income tax is, and what it will mean for small businesses and landlords?
Making tax digital for income tax is the government's initiative to start to digitise the tax system. So rather than, there's two major changes, three key principles that you need to be aware of. So at the moment, as you all know, if you're a sole trader or a landlord, you will keep records, as you say, spreadsheets, notebooks, wherever. And then by the 31st of January, you'll have to bring all that together, fill out a SA 100 or an SA 103 or 105, depending on whether you're self-employed, you've got self-employment or property income. And then you might go onto the HMRC portal and to fill out those lovely boxes that we all love so well. And you work out how much tax you owe, and you have to pay that by the end of January. With making tax digital, there's a lot of that changes. So the first change is that you must keep records of your transactions digitally using software.
Yeah.
So that's the first change, and I'll come on to how you... The second thing is you must send an update of your income and expenses to HMRC at least once a quarter.
Yep.
So no more waiting till the end of the year. You've got to do it quarterly. And then at the end of the year, you will then need to check all of your data and do the end of year, the MTD return, the end of year return in the same way that you do today. So one thing that doesn't change is you still have to file tax and you still have to pay tax.
Yeah.
We don't get away from that. But you now having to use software to keep digital records, and you have to submit an update at least once a quarter using software. So that's a big change. Now, that might think, wow, that's really big, that's very scary, and that's a lot of work. But actually, MTD is actually a really beneficial thing for those of us who are sole traders or landlords. So number one, if you think about the three things that really potentially cause you pain when you think about tax, number one is the January tax panic.
Yeah. So
we see it, believe it or not, one of the biggest spikes we see of people looking for software is on Boxing Day. Because we've all done it.
Yep.
You get through Christmas, you're lying around on the sofa, probably recovering from the day before, thinking, God, that tax return's not doing itself. I'm off today.
Yep.
No one else is going to be bothering me. I'll get on and do it, right?
Yep.
So that's when it starts. And now the insane thing is you've got to go back. So if we take this year for an example, so January, so 26, so I've got to go back to 24 to find all of those records from over a year ago, right? So I've got to get all of that together. So that's the January tax panic, finding all the records, getting in all the right places, getting the tax return done. And I swear every year, this year, it won't be like this.
It'll be different.
It always is, right? So that's the first one. The second big pain point is the unexpected tax bill.
Yeah.
As we sit here today, Fiona, and everyone's out there working hard, running their businesses, all of that income that you are generating, all that great stuff that you're doing, you haven't the first clue at the moment about how much tax you owe on all of this effort and all this work that you're doing. You won't know for potentially another 12, 18 months, depending on where you're on the tax year.
Yeah.
How can you possibly run a business like that if you rationalize this?
Yeah.
So that's the second big problem. And then the third one is obviously we're all scared about getting it wrong, getting fined. Now, this is where MTD, where there is a silver lining in the cloud that you might say is MTD for income, making tax digital for income tax. Number one, January tax panic. If you're updating your records and keeping digital transactions in MTD compatible software, and you're sending it to HMRC once a quarter, by the time you get to January, your return's done.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All of that data's there. HMRC tell you what you owe. You check, make any adjustments, speak to your accountant, make sure it's all right. But that work's done. So the January tax panic is a thing of the past. Next problem, the unexpected tax bill. Every time you send an update to HMRC, they will send you a tax estimate. So they will tell you, so you're getting the information from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Yeah.
Based on the data that you've submitted to us, this is how much tax you owe. Then you ask yourself, well, why the hell would I just do it once a quarter? Why not at the end of every month when I've finished, just the software will have already prepared the update for you. Just tap update my tax estimate. The update goes to HMRC. You get the tax estimate back. You're completely compliant. You've fulfilled your obligation of at least once a quarter. But you now know how much tax you owe, and you can put that money aside. Because we're only paying tax on the profit that we make.
Yeah.
It's not, so you just as us employees do every month through pay as you earn, why not pay as you earn as a self-employed person yourself by using these tax estimates? And then the final problem, getting it wrong, getting fined. Well, if you're doing all this digitally, you've got everything in one place. You've got the software is able to help you with categorizing the transactions, which is something that we all find tricky at times. Then you are far, far, far less likely to make a mistake and get fined. And also the majority of penalties that are incurred are because people miss deadlines. If you've got software, you're much less likely to do that. So all in all, for the sole traders and landlords out there, actually, if you grip hold of MTD, you can really turn it to your advantage and make your life and your business much better.
Yeah. So to be clear, that comes in for some businesses and sole traders and landlords from next April. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's a gradual rollout. So April 26, if you have income of £50,000 or more, and that can be either from self-employment, from property, or a mixture of the two, then you, from April 6th, 2026, you need to start keeping your digital records digitally in MTD compatible software, and you need to then submit a quarterly return, and your first quarterly return will be the 7th of August. And then if you are, then that rolls out. So in April 27, that will apply to people with £30,000 of income and more. And then in 2028, it will be £20,000 of income and more. There hasn't been any guidance on sole traders and landlords with lower incomes, but I mean, you don't need to be Nostradamus to predict that we're sure that will roll out further, and other tax regimes such as partnership tax or corporation tax will be brought into this digital way of working in due course. But there is no guidance on that yet. It is just 50,000 above April 26, 30,000 above April 27, 20,000 above April 28 at the moment.
And I assume in a similar way to making tax digital for VAT when that rolled out, that there will be some exemptions, but very few. There were exemptions for people who were perhaps digitally excluded, who were unable to use software, or people whose faith or religion prohibited them from using technology. But actually the exemptions were very, very small and very tight.
Yes, and that's exactly the same for MTD for income tax. It's by exception. You've got to provide evidence. So there are a very, very small number of exemptions, exactly as you outlined, Fiona. They're all available on the government, the HMRC website. But yeah, for the 99.9%, the rest of us, it's happening depending on when you're
on the turnover,
depending on your income level.
Yeah. You mentioned that the software needs to be compatible. Can you explain what you mean by that, please?
So it needs the software needs to be able to obviously record the right information digitally. So all of that information's there for HMRC. It needs to be able to send an update. So it needs to be able to the taxpayer needs to be able to connect through the software to the HMRC systems. Then the software needs to be able to submit the update to HMRC in the right format via the route, the technical route that HMRC specifies. So that needs to be done. And then similarly with the end of year MTD tax return needs to be done in that way as well. So that's at a high level, that's what compatibility means, that it can talk to HMRC systems. The key thing to just remind everyone on that, though, is that you are only submitting what you want to submit. HMRC will only receive data that the software has sent. It's not, they don't have access to whatever's you keep in your accounting software or in your bank account or anything like that. All they will receive is a form similar to what you put on your SA 103 or SA 100 today on the tax if return. You went onto the HMRC portal and did that, that's all they're seeing.
Yeah.
So you always have 100% control over your data. That's your data. It's not Sage's data. It's not HMRC's data or your accountant's data. It's yours. You have control of that. You decide what you want to share with whom at all times.
Yeah. And as far as I understand it, HMRC are approving software, so you can check with HMRC that the software you're using perhaps currently or that you might be considering using will meet the requirements of making tax digital. And that they're not planning to produce any software for themselves. I mean, there are HMRC tools that are currently available at the moment for sole traders, but they won't be producing software themselves. So you will need to go out and either check that yours meets the requirements, if you have software already, or choose one that's on the approved list from HMRC if you don't have software already.
Yeah, that's correct. So you can go onto the HMRC website or Google MTD for income tax software, recommend HMRC or whatever you want to search for. You'll see the list. HMRC won't be providing software. So the free tools that you might use from HMRC for self-assessment won't be able to do MTD. Fortunately, at Sage, we have a free piece of software called Sage Individual, which will do all of your MTD submissions and everything for you, completely free. We believe, it's something that, as a larger business in the UK, we want to support smaller businesses. And for those sole traders who are thinking, oh my, I've got to find software for the first time and that's extra cost. Well, if you want to do basically what you've been doing on the HMRC portal, but just in an easier way, digitally, with all the security that we provide around our product, then we've got a plan there that you'll be able to use for as long as you need to use it. You will always be able to do your submissions to HMRC, whether that's self-assessment or whether that's making tax digital fingerprint tax. And then if you want more automation, and obviously we're more than happy to guide you to a subscription, because that's what we're here for. But yeah, there will always be a free tool for you there.
Yeah. A lot of small business owners, Jonathan, still rely on their accountant to do a lot of their kind of day-to-day and their tax return paperwork. That's fine if that's what you want to do, but that's not really enough, is it, if you really want to get to the nuts and bolts of what's going on in your business?
No, I think this is something that we see so often, and everyone, it seems that everyone is scared of numbers, and there's many reasons why that might be, but also numbers in the business and the way numbers work in a business. Because if you think about it, any of us who've run their own businesses, even if you've done a business degree, for example, no one really teaches you how to run and understand the numbers for your business until you actually do it yourself. And that is the critical piece, Fiona, about working with your accountant, that you need to have really some basic understanding of the numbers of your business, what's good, what's bad, what you should be looking for, how you make profit, how cash works within your business so that you avoid cash flow problems, rather than because you're missing out on so much an accountant can help you with if you can have that conversation with your accountant, because they do know the accounts and the financial statements inside out, back to front. They can help you identify areas that you could improve, for example, rather than just using your accountant to throw to him or her a carrier bag or a shoebox of receipts and say, can you do my VAT return? That's like taking out a gym membership and only going once a year and wondering why you're not fit.
Yeah.
It's if you can get that collaborative process, then you will be able to really drive your business forward. Now, not everyone can do that, because obviously accountants are businesses themselves. There's a cost involved. But even if you, with your own accounting software, even with a very simple accounting tool, if you were to understand a few key numbers, then you will be able to make better decisions. Maybe you'll be able to improve your profitability. Maybe you might be able to afford to take some more services from an accountant to help you with that business development. And that might not be business development, to scale to be the next, next high growth business or anything, but just basically make your life easier, allow you to earn more money without having to kill yourself day in, day out, which is often the experience we feel when we're running, especially if we're working by ourselves.
Yeah.
It's just relentless. But if you could just make that little bit more with a few little tweaks because you understand your numbers, hey, maybe you might be able to give yourself a few more days off or work a little less hard and earn a bit more money.
Yeah. Well, that's talking about underutilising the services of your accountant, but I suppose it's fair to say that actually a lot of small businesses underutilise the functionality that's built into the accounting software they've already got. Why do you think that is?
I think it's, as we said before, no one teaches you this stuff. It's not common sense. I mean, let's face it, the first time you looked at a balance sheet, it's gobbledygook. It makes no sense really whatsoever to the uninitiated. And unless you've been taught how to use these things, it's very, very difficult. So you look at them, you don't understand it, and you don't go back there. But within the accounting software, the really big ones for me are profitability and cash flow. You can have we all know and see examples. You can for some time manage if you're not quite profitable, or especially if you're starting up and you're trying to make the business work, or you're going through a trough, which it's highs and lows running your own business, isn't it? And sometimes you are making loss, but you can keep surviving as long as you've got that cash turning, that cash moving forward.
Yeah.
So one of the key things, where if we start with the basics that's underutilized, is knowing where your money is. So we all know, anyone that's run a business at some point will have had a cash flow problem. And let's face it, a cash flow problem is just not having the cash in the right place at the right time, i.e. in your bank account where you can pay your bills, whether that's your suppliers or a tax. Now, that to the starting point, where is that cash going to be? Well, it's either going to be tight, and this all depends on the type of business that you run. But either, most likely, customers aren't paying you quickly enough. Well, you can go into your accounting software and you can see from your customer records who's paying me in what days. Have I got people so my terms might be 30 days, but I've got people paying me in 60, 90, 120. So there's all that cash that could be in your bank account ready for you to pay. It's tied up in your debtors or your accounts receivables, depending on what you call it. So there's number one, where you can go straight away into your accounting software and find that out. Create yourself a list and go chasing those customers. Now, we don't like doing that, do we? Especially as British people, if I'm talking to British, because we don't like chasing people for money, and we don't like talking about money, which is another reason why this problem exists. But guess what? Within accounting software now, you can set up the technology to send nice, friendly reminders to people that they owe you money. You can change the tone of voice. You can make sure it sounds nice and polite and very British if you want to go down that route. But the software will do it for you.
Yeah.
So if you have those automatic reminders set up, for example, it's going to make those little changes that people may pay you 3 or 4 days faster or weeks faster, whatever. But it gets that cash turning. So that's the first thing you'd go and look for. Secondly, what else could be? Stock. We all know the big businesses like manufacturers like Nissan, not far from me, stock is an evil. Everything's delivered just in time, right? Because they don't want their cash tied up on shelves.
Yeah.
But how many of us, especially if you've got like a wholesale business, or you're like trades, builders, you've got materials there waiting for jobs, well, that's money tied up. So by looking at your accounting software, you can see what level that is at, and you can reduce it. You perhaps don't buy so much, or you work your job, you look at ways. The accounting product tells you that this could be a problem. You go away and work out, well, how can I manage this job more effectively to stop me buying so much in stock? So those are so that's on the cash flow side. Obviously, you've got all this data there, so you can then work with an accountant. You can take it out the accounting software. You can do cash flow forecasts. You can do all sorts of things with an accountant, say, who knows how to use a spreadsheet in anger and get you and set yourself budgets, which again can be brought into the accounting software. So you know how much you can spend on stock each month. What is the maximum amount of time you can let a customer go overdue before you stop supplying them? So that's cash flow. On profit, well, you can go in, you can see how much you've sold. And then we come to like your costs, because the lower you can drive the costs, the better your profitability is going to be, which means you're going to make more profit, which is going to be retained in your, you're going to keep some of that in your business, which guess what? That helps pay for the stock and all of those other things, that working capital you need to run your business, which is great. So, but the costs are not equal. So if you think about, like in the accounting software, you can identify those two types of costs. The first cost, which goes up and down depending on how busy you are. That is the area that you really need to focus in on, because the lower you can drive that means more profit you make on every sale. Some businesses, so say, if you're a consultant, you're a marketing consultant, say, you might have very low cost of sales. But if you've got, if you're, I don't know, say a small cleaning business, maybe you're a cafe, maybe you've got, and you're, say a cafe, you've got labour costs that might fluctuate up and down depending on the time of year. You've just been hit this year with much increased employer national insurance contributions. You've probably also been hit by the national minimum wage increases.
Yeah.
So those are the sort of costs that if you don't keep on top of them and you haven't got somewhere, so if you're using spreadsheets or whatever else, you might not have a proper handle on it. Those are the sort of costs that can creep up without you realising it. And the first time you realise you've got a problem is actually when you start seeing the bank balance is not as healthy as it used to be and you haven't got the money to pay. So profitability, really driving in on those costs and always trying to look at who are your best customers, which the accounting, as we said before, the accounting software can show you, and go and get more of those customers.
Yeah.
See what they like, and if customer A loves this product and customer B is very similar to customer A, why not try and sell that product to customer B as well, and get so that you're increasing your order values for no more investment, so therefore you're increasing your profitability. If you're increasing your profitability and you're really driving those costs down, you're going to have to work less hard and probably earn more money, which is a situation as small business owners we all want to be in, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing I suppose that I sort of think is always really useful is, as your business is getting more established and you're growing, you'll have kind of, I might want to invest in a van, or I might need a new piece of equipment, or actually I could do with, someone on a Saturday to give me a hand with sending out deliveries or whatever it might be. If you've got your accounting software, you can test what that might look like and the impact that will have on your business, can't you? You can check
absolutely.
Those what ifs.
Yeah, and this is the great thing, especially if you're using accounting software over time. You've got all of this historical data. So it's not you sort of putting a finger in the air or making wild assumptions. You're basing it on fact, on what you've done before.
Yeah.
So it's like, I remember a cafe owner I used to know and work with, like say there's only two of them, but they were starting to get busy, developing a reputation. They were getting busier. This small town was getting busier. Oh, we need to hire someone. So they were able to, they did it with their accountant. They'd been using a point of sale for their till. That was linked into their accounting software, so they knew all of their trading data. And when they actually analysed it and did some what ifs, so could we afford to bring in another member of staff? What it showed, and they were able to obviously put on any new like employer costs for employing someone. They know what the hourly rate was. They realised that actually, yes, they could stand the salary, but just not all the time. Because on their busiest times, absolutely, they could 100% cover the salary. But in the quieter months, it would be really problematic. So they were able to use that information, use that insight from their accounting software to then decide how they recruited someone. And I believe they managed to recruit someone part-time, which enabled them to, make life a bit easier, improve their service, improve the experience for their customers, whilst not crippling their business.
Yeah. I mean, my husband's self-employed, and I know he uses Sage software. One of the kind of revolutionary things that it has changed his life and limited the amount of time that he's got to spend sweating over the desk at month end is the fact that the software recognises his frequent expenses. So if he enters in, Esso garage or Shell garage, it knows straight away that it's petrol, pops it in the right column, pops it against the correct cost because it knows what job he's invoicing for. And that's, saved him a whole load of time. That's meant that actually he can get on with, making contact with potential new clients and, looking for more work or, other things that actually improve his chances of making more money. The things that he enjoyed doing, actually doing the work and not filing through paperwork.
And do you know what it also does at that Esso garage, Fiona? It also allows you to split out and get rid of, say, the pasty, the Yorkie bar, and the other thing that's on the...
Have you been looking at his receipts?
We all do it. We fill up the van, and there's a few other things which HMRC won't allow you to put as direct expenses necessarily. So and the technology, it's one of the other amazing things about how technology can help you. Now, I know AI and all of that world can be quite scary. But what it does within the accounting software, even at our most basic tiers, not the free tools, but if you want to use it, is that when you connect your bank feed to the software, so that then pulls in all of your transactions from your bank account. I would 100% say, no matter what software you're using, get that bank feed connected, because it just makes it so much more simple.
Yeah.
Stops the errors, because you're not going to get miskeying errors, because it's a computer talking to a computer, basically, isn't it? That comes in. The AI capabilities, the machine learning, basically learns from you, learns from what transactions are what, and it can apply the right category. Its accuracy is pretty good, but then it's very easy to take a list and recategorize them if it's not quite where you want it to, because it might be you want it in a different category for your report, because you report on things in a different way, and that's fine. But the AI, the software will learn that, so next time it doesn't do it. So as you say, it means that you don't have to do any of that, like admin, where we used to have to take the invoice and enter the invoice in and write a reference number on the invoice and put that in a file. That's all gone. It will all be done to. So all you have to do is then look on your mobile, look on your laptop, and you see what's happening in your business. Are you making any money? Are things going in the right direction? Is there something that you need to get on top of?
Yeah. So what are the key numbers, in your opinion, that small businesses need to look at, and why do they matter?
Number one, obviously, income, sales. I mean, if we take it at a very basic level, income, what's coming in, who it's coming in from, costs, what's going out, makes complete sense. But also, when you think about costs, what are the costs that are the same month in, month out? What are the costs that go up and down based on how busy you are?
Yeah.
That's a really important distinction. And from that, the profit, are you making any? If not, how could you make some? And the first thing then we go back to is kind of the income. Well, do I need to increase my prices? So if I've had a 1.2% increase on national insurance, employer contributions, for example, and minimum wage has gone up, have I priced that in? Have I repriced my products and services to take that into account? Again, we can help with that. So that's on the profit side. And then on the kind of cash side, and this is just going into the balance sheet and having a look, knowing how much money have you got in stock? How much money are you owed in from your customers?
Yeah.
Those are, I would say, the two biggies. And how much money is in your bank account? But it's all, we talk about cash flow cycle, and it's all because you buy a product that's then sitting in stock. You then sell it to a customer. Then they take a while to pay you. Then it comes into your bank. So it shows you where the cash is. Those are the ones I would always look at, and I would be looking at those. And it depends on because we all have different trading cycles, don't we? But certainly I would be looking at that once a month, and I would be always trying to look at that. Okay, what was that compared to last month? What was that compared to this time last year? Because often it's those, maybe, as I said, there's 5 numbers that I've just mentioned there, but it's not only just the numbers, but within context, because a number without context has no meaning. And if you're comparing it to what you did last month or last year, you're getting some really good insights.
Yeah. Why don't businesses look at that more often if it's so easy in your accounting software? Is it just they're too busy, or is it because they don't understand what's going on? What's your experience on that?
So I think there's never one answer, is there? I mean, it's a combination. So number one, it's just busy. I mean, if you're working for yourself, sometimes you don't even have a chance to eat, never mind sit there and look at how your business has performed this month, last month. So that's number one. Again, might take a little effort, not very much effort, I have to say, to get yourself started. But once you get started and you get the software working for you, then you're going to have more. It's going to be easier to look at that from your mobile device or your laptop, whatever. I think the other is you just don't know what you're looking at because you've never been taught what a P&L is, what a balance sheet is, or what are any of the other kind of key accounting terms. But honestly, it's not. It doesn't have to be complicated. You just need to take what it is that you need for your business. And then really the final one is just that it's numbers. I'm scared of numbers because they scared us at school.
Yeah.
And now there's a thing called the tax man who might get annoyed with us if we get our numbers wrong. So there's that fear. But really, if you think about like the numbers that you're looking at as whether you're a small limited company or you're a sole trader out there by yourself, you want the numbers to be timely. Well, if you're connecting your bank feed, that's pulling it all in, it's going to be timely. It needs to be relevant. So you don't need huge amounts of data. You just need the stuff that means something to you. It needs to be understandable. So there's so much now online. We've got so many resources to help you here understand numbers, but you just need understanding to answer the key questions that are always, if we're running your own business, you're always asking yourself, am I doing this? You know what you want to know. So timely, relevant, understandable, accurate.
Yep.
Obviously, there's no point having wrong numbers, but if you've got the bank feed connected up, which again, remember, only you can see this data in your accounting software. Only other people can only see it if you share it with them. Accurate, and it needs to be detailed enough. So if you understand it, you've got to have enough detail, not huge amounts of detail that you get lost, but enough detail to answer your questions. Yeah. If you think about that, that's what you need the numbers to show you. And the great thing is, an accounting solution with a bank feed connected, it is all there, sitting there, waiting for you.
Yeah, and if you know what you want to know but you don't quite understand it, that's where you go back to your accountant. You work with them because
100%.
Often they will have vast experience working with exactly the same software solution, and they may even recommend one to you anyway. So they can help you unpick that and explain, what it means and why it matters and what you need to do about it.
Yeah, and I think every business is stronger with the right accountant. And getting the right accountant is really important, because some accountants specialize in particular sectors or particular size of businesses. Others, and when we say accountants, don't discount the bookkeepers. Yeah. The bookkeepers are an amazing group of people who are highly numerate. They know what they're talking about. They know the ins and outs of the financial statements and stuff. They know how to get organized so it might be just you spend some time with a bookkeeper.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as a stupid question here, and there is no bookkeeper or accountant I've ever come across who would ever be annoyed or put out by answering a question for a client or for even a prospective client. What they want is just for you to be able to keep records for them in the format that you agree, and get the information to them in a timely manner, so that they can do their work for you. And if you've got software, it's all done for you.
Yeah, sounds perfect.
It is.
So to wrap all of that up, Jonathan, can you give listeners 3 practical things that they can do this week to get more value from their accounting software?
Yeah, so number 1, make sure you are completely digital. So no more shoe boxes, no more glove boxes, no more cup holders. When you get a receipt, an invoice, for example, if you're out and about, at very minimum, take a photo of it. We've all got phones. We're all glued to our phones. Use it to your advantage for your business. That's number 1. Number 2, I would say find some key numbers that you're going to check, and check them regularly, whether it's weekly, monthly, because it'll give you'll start to get a sense of these numbers, and they won't be as scary. So check income, costs, and profit. If you want to get started and you're not doing anything, do that. Log into your accounting software. Well, go digital and get accounting software, but then log in and look at those. And then start to use those numbers to learn, not just record. So start to go in, have a look, don't know what that is, make a list, and then go, and if you've got an accountant, go and ask your accountant. If you know someone who's a bit better at accounting than you are, might be a bit further down the line, go and ask them. Or failing that, just do what everyone else does and open up ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, Claude, other AI models are available. Ask.
Yeah.
It might not be right. Remember, it does hallucinate, but it almost certainly will explain things in a way and help you move forward to a better position than you were before. And then, yes, if you can engage with your accountant, use your accountant and get your money's worth.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Before I let you go, can you tell our listeners where they can find you and find out more about Sage, please?
Yep, so sage.com. If you go to sage.com, if you're looking for everything for sole traders, that's all around Sage Individual. Individual Free is the completely free product that we've built for you, or Individual is the same product, but it's got a lot more automation. So there's a lot more of the categorization, receipt scanning from your mobile phone, all that good stuff. Or if you are a limited company, or if you're VAT registered, we've got our Sage accounting product. But that's all available on sage.com.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time today. It's been a great chat. Cheers.
Thank you, Fiona. Love to speak
Thank
to you.
you.
Bye.
I think it's safe to say that many of us are scared of numbers. Some of us declare openly that we simply don't understand them. But what we all know is that getting them wrong can be disastrous, and it can even get us into hot water with a taxman, and nobody wants that. That's where accounting software comes in. Even if you won't be affected by making tax digital for another couple of years, accounting software can save you time. It can help you avoid expensive mistakes, and it can help you keep on top of those clients who just take too long to pay. And it can allow you to make business decisions safe in the knowledge that you can afford the investment. If you already have accounting software, Jonathan's shared some great ways you can get more from your accounting software and which numbers you need to monitor. And for those of you who don't, he's explained why making tax digital and the insights and savings, both in terms of time and money, can make accounting software a worthwhile investment. You could even get software for free that will help you run your business better. We'll include useful advice and resources related to this episode, as well as links to Jonathan in the summary notes, and you can find these at www.startyourownbusinesspodcast.co.uk. You can also learn more about the sponsor of this episode, Sage, and how Copilot can help you and your small business. If you've enjoyed the show or found it useful, please hit follow, and that way you'll be notified about new episodes as soon as they drop. All that remains is to thank Jonathan once again for taking the time to talk to us today. Until next time, all the best.